leads us into the eating of sugar, and that's really the way you can make a change, because that gives an energetic and synergetic difference. Just saying, oh, I'm not going to do sugar, you're staying in the same energetic place. And so we have to understand that we are energetic beings first. Everything that's up on the astral level wells up out of the etheric. And if the etheric has been conditioned or encoded in a certain way, then change is almost impossible, until you begin understanding all the things that are wrong is not going to make the difference. Recognizing in a Gestalt practice way what is energetically leading you into those activities makes a difference. Or going somewhere and really doing asanas and bandhas and mudras, for a year. And then you will experience significant energetic shifts. Most of us don't have the luxury of doing that. You don't really get those opportunities these days to go off in a cave that much. You have to have a way of being mindful enough in your living that you can make these energetic changes to make possible the practice. Mudras work more in the level of neuroses, more in the level of the ways in which you have all this mental stuff that comes up. Because now you got the energy, but still you have this mental stuff that comes up. And you have anxieties and things that you want to be able to, in a sense, you're purifying your thought life, this control of thought. So Steiner, asanas are really building objectivity and openness. Because you're not open as long as you're energetically bound. So really you're working on Steiner's condition of how to be open and impartial and objective. Well, there's no way to be open, impartial, and objective unless you energetically are open. So asanas are kind of make you energetically open to other possibilities. So a mudra, most of meditation, all this stuff is mudras. Mudras are about the idea of holy, setting something aside, setting a place aside where you observe, you work with your thought life, through either through a process of observation. Gestalt is a mudra. You set apart in the evening to do a process with your thought life. By doing that, and it's non-meaningful really, all you're doing is reviewing. By doing that, you begin to strengthen your thought life. Your thought life becomes not so bound to circumstance. I think this way, I think that way because of what's coming at me from my environment. You begin to bring some intentionality to your thought life by setting aside these places. Meditation is in itself a mudra, really. And it's good if it's at a certain time, and that time can be after something as opposed to a time like 9 o'clock, after dinner, before dinner, that kind of thing. You set it in what I call a temporal body. The body is temporal as well as spatial. And so when we begin to act, in a sense we're holding that mudra in time and space in the same way we hold it, here. So we say, okay, after dinner, I'm going to do, before dinner, I'm going to do a prayer. And that prayer is going to be thankful and whatever. That's a mudra. That's a mudra. Or, like I said, rickshaws and mudra. There's all kinds of different approaches to creating mudras. They're basically ways in which you work with your mental life that is set apart and doesn't seek anything in the world. Because if you seek something in the world, then it immediately sets you up for new karma based on your past karma. You have a reaction in your mental life that then means that you have to then set your encoding. Then you're set to have to carry out that coding that takes place, which is what we do normally in our... Well, and normal living, and this is normal living is fine. It's even better. You live normally, but then you have these places where that's not happening, and then that strengthens you.
And were you saying that the encoding, the endocrine gland is kind of central?
Central
in encoding and encoding.
Right. In terms of our living, we have encoding that's coming out of heredity and everything. But in terms of the coding that we do as through living beings, it's been shown. Most coding, that's how the way the process works. Starting up here with the pituitary glands. Our whole homeostasis is controlled through a sequence of glands. And each chakra is associated with a series of glands. And each chakra controls glands. And the whole idea is that you're uncoding this biomental thing that happens in the endocrine system. And through uncoding it, then the endocrine system starts secreting in different ways, starts creating other possibilities in the body than would be there otherwise. And all of prana, all of asanas and bandhas are all about the knowledge they had about these glands. And they had detailed knowledge about the glands as well as the meridians and the flow of the prana.
We're talking about the mudras, and you used the example of Ruksha, the daily review in reverse. So in my case, I've done that at times. In my daily habit, I find if I'm going to do that, I have to give up something else. It's just whatever. I have to not read at bedtime, or I have to do something to make room for that, even though it's not that long a thing. It takes some energy to do. So, and I really resist it. I'd just rather not.
Right. And that seems to be
that
seems to be too meaningful.
Sort of like giving up sugar.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. That sounds too meaningful.
Right.
And if you have to give up that meaningful act of reading to do rickshaw, then it's probably not where you want to start it. You want to see something else. That you want to go a little bit more mindful of where you are energetic in another place.
Yeah.
Whenever you feel that
forcing
tension,
that into my schedule, like shoving something else out of the way, and through an act of exertion of will, if I were to force myself to do this exercise every night,
we shouldn't do that.
And resisting it all the way, that'd
be a mental reaction. All you're doing is creating stuff that you got to deal with later. This whole mindfulness approach and recognizing your resources at times other than when you need them. Recognize your resources. I guess in the sense that you can say that that's what it's about. Recognizing your resources, setting aside spaces to recognize your resources, cultivate them at times when you don't need them, makes them available at other times. And in my experience, a lot of these areas, it's immediate. You experience the energy release immediately. However it works, that's what Gestalt practice knew. The energy release is immediate when you do one of these practices. You immediately feel, wow, I got some new energy here. And that's where the next step comes in. So the last one, okay, so control of openness and objectivity, mudras, which is about control of thought, and then control of will. Control of will are the bandhas, and what the bandhas do is exactly that. They hold back the prana. Bandhas are ways you constrict your body in certain places. You close off the whales in the body. Whales are the places where the prana leaks out or pours into the world. And you hold it back. And you hold it back doing a certain breathing, usually with a certain breathing approach that allows you to turn the energy in a certain way. And then you take on a certain chakra as focus. And it transforms that tendency for the energy to flow out a certain way. Well, that's really all Steiner's control of will exercises are. And these, in a way, are the most dramatically powerful ones in my use of them. You do one of these, and you immediately feel the strengthening of the will forces. So you look at any, for most of us, we have small obsessions and compulsions. And it can be a compulsion toward anger, a compulsion toward jealousy, or, it could be a compulsion to eat, smoke, whatever the compulsion is. What you do is, you can almost come up with anything. And like one I have a little Buddha, and every night when I go to bed, I take that Buddha off of my bedside table, and I put it on my dresser. I get up in the morning and I put it back. And during the day, when that one little compulsion comes up, that bandha comes to mind, and I immediately feel the compulsion disappear. So by doing that one little mudra in association with that, it's the resource and it becomes available. But you tell yourself, though, if the compulsion comes on you, well, hopefully it's not a compulsion that's going to get you in real trouble. You don't try to resist it. And it's this miraculous way it works. Compulsion just leaves you.
Did you link that particular bandha with it?
I did, but I linked it mentally, but not as a will activity, just to say, okay, that's why I'm setting up this bandha, in response to that particular compulsion. And then, so when I have that compulsion come on me, then I don't try to resist the compulsion, but now from an incantative sense. So incantative means things just arise. So now in association with that compulsion, this action comes up, and what the action has done, the action over the whole day is a certain regulation of my etheric. So that action is possible every time. That's what happens when you do one of these things. You bound your will to a certain degree toward making that action happen. You know, standing digging up or throwing a rock out the window every day. To be able to be available to do that action at a particular time, you are actually molding the etheric. So you're actually directly, energetically redirecting yourself. And so then when the compulsion comes on, in a sense, in the instant, that control of will that is taking place through that becomes available in that moment, and you're able to let go and move on. You know, again, you'll see it's dramatic. You know, it's almost amazing to me sometimes. You know, even after working with this for a long time, how it will work. How just, oh, there it is. There's a compulsion, and there's the bonding right there in my mind, and then I feel release, and then I go on. And so this really, the mudras are the ones that are more. I've found it's less evident the energetic change in mudras. But when asanas and bandhas, in this sense, control of habits and prejudices through control of openness and doing the asana thing, and doing the bandhas thing, the results are dramatic usually. You know, the example I gave is not throwing the hat. As soon as you do not throw the hat, you experience the energy shift immediately. And after just a few days of doing the bandha, you will find when the compulsion comes up, the bandha immediately appears to you, and you experience an energy shift. Those, in a very short period of time, will have effect. It's subtle. It's kind of more subtle to see the effect of the mudras on your control of thought. But in a sense, you know, you just have the whole combination of those.
And the exercises that you showed us, the Qigong and the other ones,
those are prana too. Those work with the chi in a different kind of way than pranayama does. But they do give you a sense of this whole thing I was talking about last year in terms of pulsation and the apperceptive thing that happens when you do these physical things. You begin to perceive, you know, the body, energy in a certain way. That's what I was giving those. So if you do chi work, then you begin to feel these states of the body and how they relate to consciousness. And
what is.
Right.
It feels like it builds your capacity for what is.
To experience that. And then to be able to transfer that to something that's fully mental. That's kind of the value of why I gave those things, is to give you a physical reference to enhance your work with the Siddha mantra when you're not doing the physical activities. And today we're getting late, but today what I want to do is really give you a specific way to work with the Siddha mantra and sit down practice.